Story 1. The Basement Room. In the summer of 2018, a new underground nightclub called Eclipse opened in downtown Detroit. It was built inside an abandoned warehouse, giving it a grungy, mysterious vibe that drew in young crowds every weekend. The dance floor was huge. The bass thundered through the walls, and the neon lights flickered like electric veins. But the real attraction wasn't the DJ, it was the rumor that the club had a secret room in the basement. A bartender named Alicia had been working there for months when she started noticing that some guests never came back upstairs. They would head down a narrow hallway behind the restrooms, following staff members who always claimed it was a VIP section. One night after the club closed, she decided to explore. The hallway smelled like bleach and stale liquor. At the end of it was a locked steel door. When she finally got the courage to open it using her manager's key, she found an empty concrete room, no lights, no furniture, just deep scratch marks all over the walls. Then she noticed a camera in the corner still recording. The footage revealed several people being led into the room over the last few months, but never walking out. The next morning, police raided the club after an anonymous tip. They discovered that Eclipse was being used as a front for a trafficking ring. The owners were arrested, and the club was permanently shut down. To this day, no one knows who placed that camera in the room or who sent the anonymous tip. Story 2. The Mirror in Room 9. In 2021, a popular Miami nightclub named The Mirage was known for its VIP lounge, an elegant room covered entirely in mirrors. The lighting was dim, the reflections endless, and the energy electric, but employees avoided cleaning that section alone. They said the mirrors didn't always reflect what was in front of them. A promoter named Jake was locking up one night when he noticed movement in the glass. Behind his reflection, he saw a woman dancing alone, swaying slowly even though the music had long stopped. Thinking someone had been left behind, he walked back into the lounge, but it was empty. When he looked again, she was still there. Only now she was standing still, smiling at him through the reflection. Security footage showed Jake standing in front of the mirror, frozen for almost 10 minutes. The next morning, he quit without explanation. The club manager, curious, checked the lounge cameras from that night, but every single file had been corrupted except for one screenshot, Jake's reflection standing in front of the mirror with a woman's pale hand resting on his shoulder. A month later, the Mirage closed due to repeated reports of mirror malfunctions. The mirrors were removed. But construction workers refused to handle them after several said they saw their reflections, smiling when they weren't. Story 3. The DJ Who Never Left. In 2015, Pulse Room, a small nightclub in Chicago, was struggling to stay open. The owner hired a new DJ named Rex, a mysterious man who showed up every night wearing dark shades and a leather jacket. His music drew huge crowds. It was hypnotic, heavy, and seemed to pull people into a trance. The club became a sensation overnight. But strange things began happening. Lights would flicker violently whenever he performed. People complained of memory gaps, waking up hours later outside the club, unsure how they got there. One night, Rex vanished mid-performance. The turntables kept spinning, the sound continued to play, but he was gone. When the staff checked the booth, they found his gear still plugged in and the speakers were playing a low, distorted heartbeat. Investigators later learned that Rex had died years before in a fire at another club where he used to perform his last track, the exact one he had been spinning that night at Pulse Room. The club was permanently closed. The building remains sealed, but every Halloween, locals claim they still hear that same rhythm echoing faintly from the walls. Story 4. The Girl in the Red Dress. In 2022, a nightclub in New York called Crimson Velvet became infamous for an urban legend about a girl in a red dress who appeared near closing time. Staff said she would approach a man, ask him to dance, and then vanish into the crowd. Most laughed it off as a story to scare new employees. Until one night, a man named Brandon disappeared. Surveillance footage showed him dancing with a woman in red, her face blurred, her body almost translucent under the strobe lights. They moved toward the exit, and then he simply vanished from the camera view. Police found Brandon's wallet and phone inside the club, but no trace of him outside. Weeks later, the security guard recognized him in an old photo displayed in the club's back office. He had been one of the original investors in Crimson Velvet, who died in a construction accident before the club even opened. Since that discovery, several guests have claimed to see the same woman near the dance floor mirror, her red dress swaying gently even when no music plays. Story 5. The Blackout Night. In 2024, during a power outage in a nightclub in downtown Los Angeles, chaos erupted. The club was packed, strobe lights flashing, people dancing shoulder to shoulder. Suddenly, everything went dark. Panic spread instantly. When the backup lights came on minutes later, several patrons were missing. No one saw them leave. Cameras captured nothing during the blackout, except for a single flicker figures moving in the crowd, larger than humans, their limbs bending in unnatural ways. Emergency services searched the club and the surrounding area, but found no signs of forced entry or exit. Days later, one of the missing patrons was discovered miles away, wandering in a daze. He couldn't remember anything except for hands pulling him through the floor. The club was investigated, and engineers discovered a sealed maintenance shaft directly beneath the dance floor, something not shown in the building's original blueprints. It led deep into the ground, far deeper than it should have. The shaft has since been filled with concrete, but workers still claim to hear faint music echoing from below at night.